Very good afternoon, one and all present over here. I, Dr. Kunjal Lotwala, welcome you all on behalf of Agrawal Vidya Vihar English Medium College in the session of written and spoken communication. As you know that in last lecture I have discussed the toasted English. I just begin with the first paragraph. So about the author R.K. Narayan and his works of art. This is an essay, Toasted English. I have discussed that what is the meaning of Toasted English, why he has given the title, the Toasted English, because the process of modifying the English is called Toasted English. In terms of America, I've discussed that how they have changed the form of uh, English. So certain set rules of the grammar they have changed for their own feasibility. How they have grown the English, which is basically from the British, but at the same time they have nurtured on this American soil. So this is what I have discussed in the first paragraph. Now moving ahead with the second paragraph. So he says in this essay, R.K. Narayan, in America, they have freed the language from the stifling tyranny of the passive voice. So in America, they have freed the language from the stifling means suffocating, tyranny means oppressive power of the passive voice. So passive voice, usage of passive voice is something which creates the complexity while using it. So that's why to make it more comfortable, what they have done, they have freed their language, American English language. How they have freed it from the Britishers, set rules. They have decreased the use of this passive voice, where we would say ceremoniously. Ceremoniously means in a way of rigid formality. So here he gives the example how they get rid of this passive voice. So he says that where we would say formally trespassing prohibited, their signboard, as I noticed in the parks of Parkley, merely say newly planted, don't walk, or absolutely no parking, leaves no room for speculation. So instead of telling trespassing prohibited, what they used to write on the signboard, American people, newly planted, don't walk. So this is what no one can understand, that you should not trespass the territory. Or else what they write absolutely no parking. So this is what directly they say. So they prefers a kind of short sentences and to the point. So there won't be any room for speculation. Speculation means thinking. One should not think twice. One can understand easily, and no motorists need spend too much time peering out and studying the notice. So one should not even waste their single moment to understand or no to spend lots of time to read and to enhance the meaning of it. So peering out means looking out and studying the notice. So this is something which is no exactly you read and you understand. Here you need not to speculate much. In a similar situation, our authorities are likely to plant a 20-line inscription on the landscape to say, under Municipal Act so and so, this area has been reserved. So this is what he is giving another example. The similar situation, if somebody would not, somebody is of the opinion not to trespass the territory, how they use it. So if it is legal, so then they use the landscape to say this thing, under Municipal Act so and so, this area has been reserved etc., etc. So long description has been given, and nobody has this much time while passing by this road or passing by this certain space, but they have written the long descriptive sentences. Who? British English. So on the landscape, what they used to write like this way: and any vehicle station thereon will be deemed to have uh, contravened. Contravened means broken the law. Subsection so and so of the Motor Vehicles Act, etc., etc. So this is what the lengthy sentence describes, that no, under this law you should not do this and that, right? So I saw on many American office doors, just do not enter. So rather to make it more descriptive, they just write do not enter. So this is how they shorten the whole sentence into a phrase. Not only that, they write to the point, so that no, at a glance you can understand the thing. So the traffic sign at pedestrian crossing never mince words. So mince words means they don't write no to spell friendly or affected manner. So they just say go or wait. Nothing extra thing they write, like please or something like that. So no formality, to the point, no description, but a single phrase or word which convey the meaning. So in a Hollywood studio, here he gives another example, that in Hollywood studio, I was rather startled to read Mark Stevens Keep Out. So when writer R.K. Narayan first of all read this thing, what Mark Stevens Keep Out. So he couldn't understand this thing, why this is too short, and what does it mean? Mark Steven is there inside, so keep out. This is what one can understand, and here he is explaining in that way. Mark Stevens is a busy television personality who did not like to be disturbed by a visitor. Obviously, he must be busy celebrity, so he would not like to be disturbed by any visitors. So incidentally, it left me wondering why, if Mr. Steven does not like interruptions, he should announce his name at all on the door. So this is humorously he's telling that no, the everyone should write like this way. So Mark Stevens keep out. So those who are busy, they should use certain kind of uh, words. So Mark Stevens keep out. So every room, every doors, they should have to write this thing. Mark Stevens every door. No, Mark Stevens keep out. If Mr. Steven does not like interruption, he should announce his name at all on the door. So they should at all on the door, he should write or announce this thing. But it is one of the minor mysteries that make travel through the country so engrossing. So across, it is absorbing all one's all one's interest or attention. So this is what he is telling, that how in America, rather to write lengthy sentences, descriptive sentences, they write short sentences, and the direct instruction has been made. Here also Mark Stevens keep out is suggesting direct instruction. Same way, go, wait, do not enter. All such scenes are representing direct instruction, rather to make it more formal and more elaborative. So one has to read a lot. It takes lots of time. Then to understand it, then decode it and find out the meaning of it. It takes lots of time. So rather to mention all such things, they write shortly and briefly. Go, wait, do not enter, Max Stevens, keep out, or no certain kind of short. So newly planted, don't walk. So this is how they avoid passive voice also, and they avoid certain kind of lengthy sentences. So this is what the toasted English language has created, right? So in Britishers, how they were using formal language, and how in America they are using feasible language, which is very no easy for them to speak or to use and to understand as well. Now moving ahead with the next paragraph. So the toasting of English has been achieved through other means also. So this is not the only one thing that only passive voice or shorten the sentences or something that made it toasted. No, there are other various means also. You can find it out. So Americans have evolved certain basic keywords which may be used anymore, anywhere, anyhow. So words which have universal multi-purpose use. So certain words are there whose use which which can be used in multiple ways. So I may make point clear if I mention the example of the word check. So he is giving the examples of many words. A single words may have lots of connotation. Connotation means lots of usage. So here he gives the first example of the word check, which may safely be labeled the American national expression, while British usage confines it to its bare dictionary definition. The American uses it anywhere. So he is referring that how the Czech word is became it became the national American national expression. So anywhere you go, people just they don't know what to say, or they don't even bother to make it so lengthy. They just speak Czech, and that's why it became American national expression. To show their expression, they just say Czech. So which is used with the multiple meaning, and it refers to the word Czech means that it can be used in different situations also. So with multiple meaning, it means in multiple situation they use this word Czech. So this expression being so devised that one may blindly utter it and still find that it is appropriate for the occasion. So they just find it that it is appropriate anywhere you use, in any situation it is appropriate. So I'll check means I'll find out. So I'll find out, I'll investigate, I examine, scrutinize, verify, or probe. So I'll check means I'll find out. So there are various meaning, and they just use one expression, that is I'll check. So your check. So sometimes I'll check, which has multiple meaning: investigate, examine, scrutinize, verify, to probe. I will find out the solution, like that way. So your check means your ticket, token, or whatever you may have to produce. So I'll check, your check. Check room is where you have your possessions for a while. So check girl is one who takes care of your coat. So this is what a multiple way of using check. So that's why he's telling that check has become the American national expression, because I'll check means it has various meaning. Your check means various meaning. Check room, where you leave your possessions for a while. You check the room, right? In hotel, if you go, so check in, check out, like that way. So check girl is one who takes care of your coat, umbrella, or anything else you may leave in custody. So that is check girl. Check in and check out. At first I heard it as a check out. So when he heard this thing, check in, check out, so he was thinking that what is the meaning of, no, he couldn't even recognize the pronunciation. He was thinking that it is check out. So that is why, you know, he has written it into the bracket. So check out. Check out means throw someone, someone's someone something out. Check out means, and felt rather disturbed. So he was considering that checking and check out, that is related to someone throw someone something out. So this is what humorously he is referring. So check-in and check-out refers to one's arrival in hotel and departure from there, departure therefrom. And there are scores of other incidental uses for the word. If you are ever hard up for a noun or a word, you may safely utter the word check and feel confident that it will fit in. So if you feel like not to have any kind of expression, or if you find that you are not knowing the proper answer, what can you do? So if you are hard up finding any kind of noun, one can confidently use check. And no, this is what helps them. It means that fabulous also, check, one can use it to make it confident. Now he is giving the another word, that is fabulous. So fabulous is another word that is used in that country freely. So after check, this American people, they use fabulous word, which is also considered that know how they are using frequently and freely without much premeditation. So without much planning, they just use it. Fabulous. So of course, everyone knows what fabulous means. Means you know what is the meaning of fabulous. But the American usage has enlarged its sense. So we know that fabulous means something which is outstanding, right? The thing that you like the most, which is fabulous. So, but what American people they interpret, or their usage is so broad that they tell this, or they utilize this word fabulous in everywhere. So they have broadened the or the enlarged its sense. So I found a lady in Wisconsin declare, "Oh, those cats of mine are fabulous," meaning that they were eccentric. So she is giving the quality of fabulous to the cats also. Oh, so and so, he is fabulous. So may mean anything from a sincere compliment and to an insinuation. Insinuation means act of getting favor. So in act of indicating hint or favor, that so and so displays a mild form of charming lunacy. So this is what the American, they are using this word fabulous to represent a kind of artfulness or a kind of affection towards the thing or person or something, right? So this is what this is how they are broadening the meaning of the word fabulous. So this is the second example that he has given. So first, that he is talking about check, which means which he is considering American national expression, which refers to the word check, which is used with multiple meaning. It can be used in different situations also. The same way, fabulous word can be also used in various ways. With the various situation, person can use it. So again, he is giving the another example. In the next paragraph, he is telling, okay is another well-known example. So one can hear now this impact you can see in India also, how people are using okay. So okay is another well-known example. It is the easiest sound that ever emanated means originated from the human vocal cord. So everyone knows how comprehensive its sense can be. So one can find out the sense, one can find out the meaning whenever you use okay. So okay, okay, and okay is a self-sufficient word which needs no suffix in indicate any special respect for the listener. So you don't require any kind of suffix or prefix before or after okay or while using this word okay. So listener can also understand it well, and speaker, when he or she is using this word okay, he knows that, or he or she knows that no, the listener will uh, make the sense out of it. So it can stand by itself without a sir to conclude the sentence. So you need not to say okay sir or okay madam. You just need to say okay and pause. So one can understand. So you need not to use any kind of suffix, prefix, or you need not to use any kind of thing behind or after the word while using the okay. So in this respect, it is like ye. Why? Now he is giving another word, that is yeah, ye. So which seals off a sentence without further ado. So he's telling that here also you need not to use anything like yes madam, yes sir, yes lady, this and that. Okay, so this is what one can understand. So you just put okay and full stop, you just put yes and over, or ye, not yes but ye, yeah. So ye means it's like one can understand, one need not to write something after the ye. So yes sir or yes darling is conceivable, but yes sir or yeah darling is unthinkable. So one cannot, means one cannot use that yeah sir or yeah darling. No. So this is unthinkable. Yes, you can use yes sir, but here ye, yeah. So ye is uttered in a short base of the tongue grunt. So yes, while you speak at that time, it takes lots of time. So rather, this is something that shorten. It is no shortening yes also. So ye. So ye is uttered in no. It doesn't take that much time while speaking ye. So ye is uttered in a short base of the tongue. You need not to articulate your tongue in or twist your tongue while speaking ye. You just need to speak shortly ye. So which almost snaps off any further continuation of the sentence. And while you speak ye, it means that you need not to speak anything further in your sentence. So with this just ye, you can finish your whole sentence or expression. So yes involves time as the sibilant. So yes involves time while speaking it, because you need to add afterwards also certain things as a sibilant. So hissing sound ye while you speak h, sh, h. So this hissing sound could not prolong. Prolong means shorten. So this is what no, when you speak ye, it is shorten. On the contrary, yes is something where you need to write or speak something afterwards also, and it will contain the long sentence. Rather, ye is something short expression and convey the meaning also. So this is what he is discussing regarding toasted English. So in earlier he said that how American soil they are growing on this American soil, how they are growing British English in their own ways, and then he gives the lots of examples of the Czech, the next national American national expression, certain words that how it can reduce with lots of meanings, and he is giving the example of passive voice also, where long descriptive sentences are used instead of using long sentences. He is giving the example how one word or a phrase can no can be helpful or make it easy to convey the message. So this is what he is discussing till now. Now moving ahead with the another passage of the essay Toasted English. The refinements of the usage of countries where English has a bazaar status are worth a study. So it's telling that no, now this refinement means changes has been done. So the refinements of the usage means your way of using language. So this changing of the way of using language in countries where English has a bazaar status. Bazaar status means English is the language of common people. So bazaar means common people. So English has a bazaar status are worth a study. So when these common people are using English language, it is a kind of study to do. So on a London bus, so bazaar means common people, how they are using English language. So it's giving the example of London, that on a London bus, you will never hear the conductor say ticket, ticket. So now he's talking about England. So in England, in London, if you observe this conductor is representative of this common people. So bazaar status of English you see in in Britain. What kind of English they are using? So what this conductor cry or what this conductor say, he won't say ticket, ticket. What he say, he approaches the passenger and say thank you. And on receiving the fare means rate or amount, fare says thank you sir. So he won't cry ticket, ticket the way you see here also, ticket, ticket like that way. No, he won't say like this. Where? In London, that is in Britishers conductor. So I found out that one could calculate the number of passenger in a bus by halving the total number of thanks heard. So the numbers are there, how many passengers are there. On the basis of it, it is no reduced. Halving means reduced by half the total number of thanks heard. So rather passengers are less, but the way this conductor is speaking thank you, that is more than the passenger. So in any Western country, if a receptionist asks, now he is giving another example. If receptionist is there and receptionist is asked you that can I help you? So receptionist out of no humble or no courtesy, he will speak informal language. Can I help you? But what does it mean? It sounds so good, right? It sounds so soft. But what does it really mean? Have you any business here? If so, state it. So why are you moving here and there? You are in my way. This is what the tone or the meaning behind this soft speaking skill, that is can I help you? So it really means have you any business here? If so, state it. How can I help you? Like that way. So, or it may mean evidently you have wandered off into a wrong place. Go away. So you are better, you should empty the place. You are occupying this space uselessly. So better you should empty the place. So a man who wants to pass you always says, excuse me. So you might be using the same way, that the person who is who would like to pass your way, he always says excuse me, while he may with all justice burst out, what do you mean by standing they're gaping at the world while you block everybody's passage? But what does it really means? That no, you are gapping my passage. What the hell are you doing? So this is what the real meaning is. But no, out of formality, how we use the words. So excuse me, right? So stand aside. Stand aside, man. So when you send your card in and the busy man's secretary appears and whisper in your ear, would you like to wait? Though the tone is one of the consultant. Consultant means discussion between the people before the decision is taken. So if you are waiting for a person, a busy man's secretary will come and he will ask you that, would you like to wait? and the sound and the tone is something which makes that tone. It is up to your decision. So you have really no choice in the matter when she is asking you certain kind of question. You don't have any option instead of telling thank you. So the thing to do is not to answer the question but say thank you and look for a comfortable seat in the waiting room. Although you may feel like to say that, no, I wouldn't like to wait, I have other things to do. So you would like to say that, no, no, I don't want to even sit here or no, wait here. I have many things, but you cannot tell like this. So in formal way, you say only ending up telling thank you, nothing else. So this is what we think and well what we speak that matters. So he's focusing on these aspects of language, English language. So this is also toasted English, how we change it, what is there in our mind. We cannot always speak our mind, right? So this is what he's telling. So now in the conclusion of this uh, text or the essay, he is making his point. After discussing about America, now he jumped to his own conclusion, what he is considering. So the time has come for us to consider seriously the question of a Bharat brand of English. So now he's telling that now question, now the time has arrived for us that we need to think about the Indian way of using English. So Indian way of using English, he has given very no Indian word, that is Bharat brand of English. So we've been through this, or we have already discussed this American way of using English, that is known as toasted English. Now we require Bharat brand of English. So far, English has had a comparatively confined existence in our country, chiefly in the halls of learning, justice, or administration. Now you see that how English is comparatively used here also in India. You see right now also your teaching and learning process has been also taken in English language. So it is confined to all the territory, all the strata of our life in the country. You see that our life in our country everywhere, you see that in India, that chiefly in the halls of learning. So that is what we are doing right now, teaching learning way of discussion. Then justice or administration, so you take the example from the law, justice, and the or the administration also. So everywhere you see that people are using English language. So now the time is right for it to come to the dusty street and marketplace and under the banyan tree. So this is the time where no, the time is now time is right for it to come, not to that higher level no area strata, but it need to come to the bazaar also. So common people on the street also can speak. So under the banyan tree, or no villages, towns, people from their common culture, they can also use the English language. So English must adapt the complexion out of the assimilative its idiom. So he's telling that English must adopt the complexion of our life. So it should be adapt to our life. It should be part of our lifestyle and assimilate its idiom. And we need to use it in all our way of living life. So I am not suggesting here a mongrelization of the language. Mongrelization means a hybrid or crossbreed kind of. That I'm not talking about that we should hybridize the English language. But I am not recommending, and I am not recommending that we should go back to the days where we heard, particularly in railway, where you going man, where you going man. So I am not telling you that you should use the way this Britishers are using the language. So Bharat English will respect the rules of law. So what kind of English he is suggesting? So he's telling that Bharat brand English, what kind of English it should be? So it should be or it will respect the rules of law and maintain the dignity of grammar. I am not telling that one should prohibit the use of grammar. One should follow the dignity of grammar, but still have a Swadeshi stamp. It should not be British, it should not be American, but it should be created by the Bharat, India. So Swadeshi stamp should be there on its unmistakably, like the Madras handloom check shirts or the Tirupati doll. So it should be like Indian, where no, it is basically related to Indian origin. So we need to grow the English in Indian soil, and no, that's how we need to make our stamp on English language, because we need to use it to follow all kind of rules and regulations of the grammar and make it more and more feasible and proper. So this is what he is discussing in this essay to state English by R.K. Narayan. So I hope it is clear on your part. I'll provide you the PDF of this also. Thank you. Thank you for the patience listening.